States 10 is Travis McMichael's messaging involving racist terms.
Now, this is a message dated March now, going even further back, almost a year prior to the shooting incident. I would object as to relevance, as to bond factors, or has to consider for Travis.
He uses racist terms here, talking about risk of flight and risk of committing new crimes in the Department of Justice notice that the court's already admitted. And by the way, for our record, 10A and 10B are just different formats of that same conversation.
And I'm sorry if it's lost on me, but how does, as disgusting as it may be, how does using the N-word present risk of flight, even if Justice Department is investigating the case? They don't bring cases based on people using the N-word. They have to prove a causal link between the shooting or death or injury and the race. That someone shoots and kills someone because of race. Not because of thought, but because of actual race.
Judge, for our purposes for this bond hearing, you must consider whether there's risk that these defendants are committing crimes or are a risk of flight based on the totality of what this court knows. The fact that we have uncovered deeply disturbing race and racial texts and messages certainly goes to not only the possibility but a real probability of what might happen in a concurrent investigation, and that causes the state concern about risk of flight and risk of committing new crimes.
It's so interesting because I think today the Justice Department is bringing before the grand jury Travis McMichael's friend who's black. Yes.
No idea where that came out of. I have no idea what you're referring to.
The Justice Department has a grand jury investigation, as Mr. Evans has noted time and time again. There's a hate crime investigation by DOJ.
That's completely out of left field right now. I have no idea what's being referred to here.
What I'm telling the court is Mr. Evans has repeatedly said that because there's a hate crime investigation, these clients, these defendants, the McMichaels, are at risk of flight. And he's using, actually, this exhibit, which is, I think, 10, in which Travis McMichael uses the N-word as proof that this hate crime investigation is going to result in an indictment. And therefore, Judge, they're looking at serious potential penalties in federal court, and therefore they're a risk of flight. That's his argument, essentially. Otherwise, why is the hate crime investigation even relevant? It's just an investigation.
It's up to the defense. So, I mean, I've got to just deal with IL factors, which is more than just risk of flight. I've got 4 IL factors. There's a lot of other things the court has to consider as part of those 4 factors. The position the court simply taking at this point is that the defense got up and presented a whole slew of opinion testimony and evidence with regard to the reputation for these individuals within the community. Okay? It's now the state's opportunity to get up and present whatever evidence they have. The court's position, there is no overruling this, is for the purposes of bond hearing. This information helps the court understand not only the testimony of the prior witnesses, but also the evidence that the state is now going to try to formulate with regard to the IL factors. So it's being overruled. Again, we're in a bond hearing. And I want to be very clear about this. What's in here, I would imagine to many, would be trouble. Okay? I get it. And this is a road that I really don't want to go down. But in this particular case, it's an issue that's going to keep coming up. Because if we start getting into self-defense and other matters, state and defense, then the court's going to have to keep figuring this out. This evidence at this point, though, is only coming in for the person bond hearing. It's already on with you today. Okay? Proceed.
States 10 are Travis McMichael, we just dealt with 10. States 11 are recorded jail calls by Travis McMichael.
Objection to relevance.
Well, there's a bunch of them. And I don't know if we have to go through, there's probably 10
I'm going to talk about one particular call where Travis McMichael talks to his mom about having his sister take down her social media, which was the source of discussion with Lee McMichael when she was on the stand.
And we would object to the other ones as being irrelevant, or else not tender.
I'm not going to play the other ones. I'll just state for the court that I'll stay away from them.
We're sticking to the law.
And is there a date, Mr. Evans?
Yes.
For that particular one, or a number?
Yes. You have that handy? All right. Sure.
And we can come back. I don't want to slow us down. If you want to just come back.